Peace and greetings. Welcome. Peace to all of God um, on this beautiful Friday. I would like to say, whatever your desires, your intentions are, may they be granted in the infinite speed of light itself. May you find that this day brings you refreshment, joy, and elevation in everywhere that you take yourself. Ashe. So, family, I want to talk to y'all about something very important, and it very much so is in context with the last video I uploaded on forgiveness when it comes to forgiving ourselves. But this video is a little bit different. It's going to be addiction, on addiction, family. And the reason for this video is not so I can get on y'all about how you choose to live. It's not my business. But to speak on addiction from a higher conversation. When we talk about addictions, typically the society points their fingers at taboo things, taboo quote unquote addictions that do not align with uh, the manual of how people should live, whichever one that is, right? But the truth of this quality of addiction is that we want to find out more of the subtle underlyings that cause for individuals to act in compulsory ways, all right? Now, there's so many different forms of addiction, like I said, but society typically focuses on the ones that they want to demonize other people for practicing, okay? But the true form of observing addiction is basically learning that an individual who lives without discipline is unable to withhold themselves from particular things. Whatever those things are, it does not really matter what the thing is, because every single soul is able to overcome addiction as a whole, but they also succumb to addiction in parts. I'll break it down very, very easily. Some people are addicted to foods because that's all they know, and that's where they find comfort, and that's where they give themselves opportunity to feel a wholesome feeling of love. So they consume foods compulsively based on how they feel when they eat those foods. Now, this could be anybody, but typically I speak to the African race family when I come to this conversation about food, because it disrupts us the most as organic beings to eat and consume foods that are massively produced in ways of moderation that looks like every day, because every day is not moderation. You know what I'm saying? And then that turns into all of the downhill diseases, diabetes, inflammation, high blood pressure, all of that kind of thing, right? So just because a person don't use, I would call them God-given substances, they might feel like they're free from addiction, but they don't recognize that they're addicted to Chick-fil-A, that they're addicted to, uh, Arby's, or whatever them folks' names. You know what I'm saying? Just finding different things to compulsively consume because it makes me feel good. So that's the food addiction right there. That also holds hands with drinks and carbonated drinks, artificial flavors, artificial sugars, the whole 9 to 10 yards. All right, boom. Now, now I'm about to leave your kitchen because we're going to walk into your living room in a second. A lot of people find themselves addicted to news because the news actually creates how do I say this, Spirit? The news sometimes creates an artificial acknowledgement of fear that produces certain chemicals within the biological system. So people are not addicted to CNN. They're not addicted to NSN and the MSNBC and all these numbers and letters. They're addicted to how that shit makes them feel. Why? Because they find pleasure in feeling afraid. I don't know how they was able to be put under that, but I know I was wearing that clothes one time. I was wearing that spell one time. One time I looked at the TV and I believed that shit, man. Now I know that they're just up there because they are choosing to write the world and they need us to do it. They're writing in our minds. That's basically what the news is trying to do. But we have to be able to stand at the door of our mind to understand what is written and see if it's true. Because a lot of times they speak from the absence of God. And that's why everything is happening now. Everything's a bad thing. Everything is going wrong because they're not acknowledging the infinite presence as they talk. They're living outside of it because that's the only way they can bring fear to you. You know what I'm saying? If they was consumed by the heart of God, then they wouldn't be able to say what they say about every circumstance. There'd be more positive news on the TV than negative. It'd be 99% positive and then 1% negative. And every single time we see some negative shit, we would all come together to help because we like how we see our life. But that's not the time at the moment. The world is behind. So that's the second addiction right there. People are addicted to their biological chemicals, but they don't understand that the things that they experience in their physical life is what generates their biological chemicals. So let's take that to the next step. Let's leave your living room for a second and go, where are we going? Man, this nigga think I know about my shit, man. You know, let's talk about we're sometimes addicted to society and social life. Now, social life is part of every whole and holistic natured being. So not to say that we shouldn't be social, because we really should. And that's the reason I'm making this video. I'm not making this video to watch it myself. But there's a level of external validation that has become an addiction for a lot of people. And it seems to be that they're able to appreciate themselves when they find that other people are appreciating them, because they don't have a habit of appreciating themselves. They have a habit of looking for validation. So in order to feel validated, they got to go look. So in order to feel validated, they got to post something that somebody else could look at. So in order to feel validated, they have to show up in a certain way that other people could call them certain names and certain phrases, because that helps them validate themselves. That's an addiction, because you cannot stop the craving for that. Once you start that, you cannot stop that from the space of getting it. You know what I mean? You can only stop it by giving it to yourself, but you can never stop it if you're always looking for somebody else to do the giving. So to live in that type of addiction is very dangerous, because you'll just look for anybody to give it to you at this point in life, because you know, if it's not coming from this person no more, well, damn, you know, if you don't change the originating thought, you're just going to recreate the reality, and somebody else going to be trying to fulfill those shoes that just walked, you know. And that's an addiction. Social validation and external validation, those are addictions. Yeah, so we got food, we got television, news, information, and then we got external validation. Now, I know y'all thinking about some addictions over there that I haven't mentioned just yet, and we're going to go there. We're going to go there. So talk to me about feelings. Typically, we like to be addicted to particular feelings, too. We do certain things because of the feeling that it gives us. But we have to learn how to give ourselves any feeling that we want, because we are a chemical composition library as well. We can generate feelings off energy, because that's who we are. So if you need things to do the thing that you should be able to do, it's a handicap and it's an addiction too, because you're illustrating to yourself that in order to do X, you're going to need Y. So what happens if X is not there? Then I guess Y is not present either. But as an infinite being, as God created us in his own likeness, her own likeness, we are the conglomeration of everything good in this reality. So everything good should be within you already. So if you want to find it, you should have it already. You want to find joy, you should have it already. You want to find love, you should have it already. You know, because that's how you really find it. If you're looking outside in the world to find something that you don't have, you're pretty much putting yourself in a position for addiction in this conversation. You know what I mean? So, how do we overcome these addictions? How do we overcome these addictions? Well, the first part, for me at least, is the understanding. The understanding of, what do I think I need, and why do I think I need to get it from here? You know, that's really the first stop. And this takes inner work and self-reflection. This is not a pill I can pop for you. This is not, you know, a gem I could drop. This is something that you have to build up, because it's not something that you can find in the world. It's something that you must find within yourself. You know, I could just be the pointer. I could be the word to assist you in realizing the word being spoken within you. But you still got to listen for yourself, you know? So with that being said, keep a good eye on your addictions. And before we leave the video, I got to talk to the vices, though, because, you know, how am I not going to I'm going to talk about that. My personal story, I really work closely with particular substances because of the direction of my story. Like, there's certain things that I was living through and going through that I found these substances to assist me in finding clarity in a lot of different areas. And after I found the clarity, I kept with the substances because I was already used to that. So when we talk about addictions, it goes hand in hand with habits, hand in hand. You can't even separate the hands. So when we start to lean into sovereignty, it's a part of sovereignty that is happening on a physiological level, meaning the chemical composition of the human body is relying on itself. You understand? Now, this doesn't mean that you're not going to partake in something that you value and use for a higher purpose, but it's to only bring forth the centeredness of relying on self, relying on God, relying on truth, relying on light, the infinite presence, the darkness and the light that lives within each and every single one of us. And this does not mean by any shape or form that you're not going to need something else, because this is a scripture. I like to bring the scriptures. This one just showed up. It's man shall not live by bread alone. I'm going to do a video right after this illustrating what bread means and how we use it in terms of money and everything like that. But man should not live by bread alone, because you're not going to just watch videos like this all day long and get all this higher awareness and pictures and clarities and clairvoyance and consciousness, and that's it. Because we got a human body too. So that's why I bring it back to the Three Mind series, because there's multiple parts of you that also need food, that also need to be nourished. You know, so shall not live by bread alone, meaning that men should not just supposed to live by what's spoken in the temples and churches. Because if that's all we had and that's all we focus on, then when it's time to talk the economics, we don't have nothing to say. Because we can't live by just one set of this, you know, information, one set of this dynamic of life, you know. So it's a total 360 of experience that we're here for. Yeah. Along the way, I appreciate y'all for being focused and for being attuned to the voice of God being spoken within you right now, guiding you to your highest and greatest good, your higher self always guiding you, illustrating to you the best and the most perfect next step. And we give thanks for that under grace and in perfect ways. Ashe. Amen. That was good. That felt good. I felt that. But look, I appreciate y'all again. If y'all want to actually get more of these step-by-steps, because there's some other practices I can show you guys in the context to addictions to help you release yourself from your holds of yourself. But it's nothing that you can't figure out. It's nothing that, there's no magic pill I can pop in your mouth. There's nothing. The only thing is, do you have the discipline? Are you willing to build the discipline? Because if you don't have it, you got to be willing to build it at this time in life, for real. Because there's no, you can't swipe a card for the discipline. Because even if I put it in the course, your discipline shows up in you watching the videos. So you got to build this. You got to build this. And I know that this video is going to serve every single soul who watch it for whatever their purpose in their field in which they feel they are addicted. Did I even speak on all the addictions? I think I left something out. But either way, keep in mind, the news is here not to do the job of God. I'm doing the job of God right now by sharing this good news with you. The news on TV, however, they're in the drug business. And when I say the drug business, I really mean the neurological and the bioanatomy drug business. Because fear produces chemicals within the body, and the body becomes addicted to those chemicals. Therefore, their watch time goes up, their viewership goes up, and people come back to see what they're talking about. So I'm actually releasing a new chemical in the body right now, and you can call it the peace of God, and it flows through every single cell of my atomical system and atomical structure right now. And that's what we're spreading out here. At least one of the good things. So with that being said, I appreciate y'all for for walking with me in this journey and walking beside me. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Whole time, discover that you are one with God. Always. Peace.